In the heart of South Central Indiana, there's a city called Columbus.
Even though it's small, you couldn't miss it if you tried.
Full of incredible buildings that are instantly recognizable, Columbus is known all over the world for its incredible architecture.
But what is it that truly makes these buildings special?
The answer lies in the stories that have made Columbus into the city that it is today. Stories about normal people striving to be the best they can be. Hi, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Wyatt. Today we are going to show you around our home, Columbus, Indiana.
And learn how it became one of the greatest architectural cities in the world.
Let's go! For many years, the people of Columbus have valued excellence. That means they have tried their best in everything, including architecture.
And that quest for excellence began right here at the First Christian Church. It all began in the 1940s when a local church was making plans to build a new church building. One of the church parishioners, a man named Joseph Irwin Miller, was passionate about good architecture. He believed that if the buildings of a city were great buildings, then the people that lived there would grow up to be great people too. Mr. Miller shared his passion for architecture with his family and the rest of the church leadership. They all agreed that their new church shouldn't be just any church building. It should be the best church building that has ever been built in Columbus. Looking for the perfect person to design their new building, the church reached out to a famous architect named Eliel Saarinen. Eliel was an immigrant who had come to America from Finland in 1923, along with his young son, Eero. He was one of the greatest architects in the world, and following in his father's footsteps, Eero would also grow up to be a famous architect, even more famous than his father. When the Miller family asked Eliel to design their new church building, he was hesitant to say yes. Eliel did not like big fancy church buildings and thought that there were too many of them in Europe. But the Miller family explained that they did not want their church to be a big fancy one. They wanted a simple, modern design, a place where everyone would feel welcome, no matter who they were. This changed Eliel's mind. He agreed to help design the building, and in 1942, First Christian Church was built.
Building First Christian Church was a huge accomplishment for Columbus, but it was only the beginning of the way Mr. J. Aaron Miller was going to encourage the people of Columbus to be the best that they can be through architecture. When World War II ended, all of the young soldiers who had been away at war came home. Many of them got married and had children. So many, in fact, that pretty soon there were little kids running around everywhere in Columbus. The town was growing, and it was becoming a very popular place to raise a family.
At about that time, Mr. Miller had taken up a new job as president of the Cummins Engine Company. He wanted to use his new position to help make Columbus a better place, and the first thing he wanted to change was the schools.
The schools?
Yep. After the war, Columbus had so many new kids that the local schools didn't have enough room for them all. Fortunately, Mr. Miller knew exactly what Columbus needed. New school buildings, ones with lots of space for kids to learn, grow, and play. The best school buildings that had ever been built in Columbus.
Mr. Miller talked to the school board about his idea. He showed them a list of some of the best architects in the world. He said that if the school board would choose an architect from the list to design a new school, Cummins would pay that architect for their design. And the school board agreed.
The first architect that the school board hired was a man named Harry Weiss. Harry designed lots of buildings with triangles in them. In 1954, he designed Lillian Schmidt Elementary, the first modern school building in Columbus. It had triangles in its roofs. The school board loved Harry's design, and Harry loved Columbus so much that he went on to design even more buildings here, like First Baptist Church and the Hamilton Ice Center.
Did they have triangles in them too?
Yes, they did. Building the Schmidt Elementary was a huge step forward into helping Columbus solve its not enough space problems, but it wasn't enough to build just one school.
After Schmidt Elementary came Northside Middle School, also designed by Harry Weese.
Then came Parkside Elementary, designed by Norman Fletcher.
W.D. Richards, designed by Edward Larrabee Barnes.
Lincoln Elementary, Gunnar Burkhartz.
L. Francis Smith, John M. Johnson.
Southside Elementary, Elliot Noyes.
Mount Healthy Elementary, Hardy Holzman.
Columbus East High School, Mitchell Jurgala. Fadria Community, Paul Kinnan.
Clifty Creek, Richard Meyer. Hope Elementary, Taft Architects. Whew, there are a lot of schools in Columbus.
There sure are. And it's all thanks to Mr. J. Irwin Miller and the Cummins Foundation.
Wow, Mr. Miller really loved architecture. I wonder what his house looked like.
Let's find out. Miller House, the home where J. Irwin Miller raised his family, was designed in 1957 by Eero Saarinen.
Wait a second. Eero Saarinen? The same Eero Saarinen that worked on First Christian Church?
Yep. While Eero Saarinen and his father were working on First Christian Church, Eero and Mr. Miller became good friends. They would often get ice cream together at the Haricos and talk about architecture. In 1953, Mr. Miller asked Eero if he would design a house for him and his wife, Xenia. Eero did so happily, with the help of his fellow designers, Kevin Roche, Dan Kiley, and Alexander Gerard. By the time the 1960s rolled around, Columbus had become known all throughout the country for its incredible architecture.
In 1969, I.M. Pei designed the Cleo Rogers Memorial Library. Pei was also known for his work in Paris, Germany, and China.
Deborah Burke, a famous architect from New York, designed the Creekview Branch Bank in 2006.
Located in one of the busiest parts of town, Ms. Burke designed the bank to stand out as unique among all the other buildings surrounding it. Architecture isn't the only thing that makes Columbus special.
Along with the dozens of unique buildings in the city, Columbus is a home to a huge amount of public art sculptures that everyone can enjoy. This sculpture, for example, is called Chaos, and it was created by Jean Tonley in 1974.
The large arch that stands outside of the Cleo Rogers Memorial Library was designed by artist Henry Moore in 1971. It's the perfect place to take a picture of First Christian Tower, if you want a really cool view.
And who could forget these iconic glass sculptures found in the Columbus Visitor Center and Columbus Learning Center? These colorful pieces were recreated by Dale Chihuly, the master of glassblowing himself. Another memorable spot in Columbus is Millrose Park in downtown.
This beautiful outdoor space has everything from a lake and a covered bridge to a children's playground to an observation tower overlooking the whole city.
A block away from the hustle and bustle of downtown, Millrose Park provides a peaceful and quiet getaway to visitors. Columbus even has its own architecture school. The J. Irwin Miller program meets here at this Republic building.
Didn't this used to be where they printed the newspaper?
Sure did. The people of Columbus believe in recycling and reusing old buildings as much as they believe in building new ones. This is called adaptive reuse. Columbus ranks 6th in the nation for architectural innovation and design, right behind Chicago, New York, Boston, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C.
Columbus has countless visitors every year. People from all over the world come to Columbus to see the incredible structures that make the city special. For generations, the people of Columbus, Indiana have worked to make it the best city that it can possibly be.
Columbus has inspired its visitors and will continue to do so in the future.
So remember, no matter who you are or where you come from, strive for excellence and be the best that you can be.
Bye!